Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. So we do have the Aeon card tonight. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay. So, I immediately see that cube in the middle. It's a beautiful image. So it looks like a Scorpio or scorpion on this side. Butterfly, dog, fortress. Oh, two dogs. 1, 2. We have a dog up here. You can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the head. And then right, where did you go? How did I have it? Right in here. Where did it go? Sometimes I see something and then I turn it and I can't see it anymore. Oh, right here. Okay, so we have the eyes and the nose. It's facing kind of this way, like it's looking down here. So we have two dogs. And I think those are separate. So two good friends. We have the butterfly. We have the pyramid. We have the cube. It also it reminds me of a fortress. It reminds me of the 4 of discs. We also have a 27. So let's look at what we've talked about so far. So we have the two dogs, and that is, to me, two friends, two dear friends, who definitely, you look out for them, they look out for you. Okay, I think you've been friends for so long that you are like family, and I think that these two people are really cheering you on because we have the butterfly. So there is a sense of a real evolution, self-evolution in your life. We have that cube. Now the cube always, immediately always think of the Masonic phrase of on the square, or everything is squared away, right? So that means that there has been a refinement process until perfection. Okay. And the other thing it reminds me of is the Kaaba. Okay. So a most central holy place. The black cube. Now, the black cube is also sometimes related to Saturn, which, some people, they don't necessarily love that association or Saturn energy in general. But for me and my household, I'm a huge fan of Saturn, a devotee, a daughter of Saturn. So I would say that it's when I see the black cube, it is a most blessed sign. And to me, it is really a sense of things going steadily. Okay. Now, it's not easy work. Okay. The Saturnine work, not easy. It is again that refinement process. It is in alchemy, the beginning stages, the beginning processes. It is the refinement of the prima materia, being the soils of creation, that original place that we begin to plant the seeds of life, of our creativity, of our wishes, of our dreams. And so we must go through and cleanse it of the heavy metals, or the lead, which is of Saturn. And this is not an easy thing to do. If we talk about this in terms of spiritual alchemy, this is kind of doing the shadow work. Okay, so processing and integrating parts of ourselves that we feel shameful about, guilty about, we are embarrassed, we are afraid of some of our impulses, our desires, things that we don't want other people to see about us, right? So we hide them. We hide them in that shadowy place, and depending on depending on how long and how much pressure we put on it, that is kind of where monsters can grow, things that torment us. And so I feel that you really have taken it into hand, that you will begin this individuation process, begin this process of deep self-refinement, getting those elements of self in order, balanced. And that's where that Four of Discs comes in, right? This place of power. In the Thoth deck, it looks like a fortress with a kind of moat around it. It has the elements aligned within the square. And for me, it's kind of this idea of like going home to kind of restore self, going into your place of security, of perceived safety, your holy temple, your home, where you can kind of let go of your personas and your worries and, all of the tedium of the outside world. You can kind of just unfurl into your own being and be as you are, and kind of restore your social battery, your the battery you have to work off of when you are out there making money, interacting with other human beings and things. And so I see, you are really prioritizing your well-being. You are also prioritizing your growth. And that is a beautiful and immensely important on-taking. Now, we also have the fire energy with that pyramid. So I feel like there is this sense of quick movement in some areas. And I feel like this maybe is in the creative sector of being, in those spheres of now it could be, that you want to start a family, or you want to add on to your family. It could be a sense of wanting to connect with somebody special. Maybe it is that you are going into a period of, a lot of creative output as far as, arts or work or, domestic things around the house. I just posted about the garden. I've been thinking about my own garden. I'll be in a new location this year. So I have a lot to think about. What am I going to do in this new garden that I have have not even begun putting together. But what will that look like? And so maybe this is a creative period in that way for you as well. Maybe you are getting your seeds planted, getting those little seedlings growing. Maybe you are, I read somebody in the comments said they were in Florida. They've already got their garden in, and I was a little bit jealous. I'm not going to lie. But, you know, it could be something like this or whatever it is that you would like to spend your time putting this kind of fire energy into. And I think it is a really prosperous cycle here. Now we do have kind of a almost frenzied feeling in some of this. It looks kind of chaotic, doesn't it? I'm going to take a sip. I'm trying to do it as far away as possible. I talk for a few hours every day doing readings, and it's 7 days a week, mind you. I record every day. And yeah, I have to drink sometimes during the readings. And I apologize. Somebody complained the other day that they could hear me drinking, and they absolutely could not stand it. So I'm sorry. I'm trying. I forget that the mic is right here. You can probably hear all, you know, my breathing and hitting the tripod and all the stuff. So I do my best. I'm sorry if it is a little too loud. But yeah, my mouth gets dry, definitely. All right. So I'm looking at this, and it almost reminds me of Plato's cave in a way. I kind of almost am looking at this as like distortions on the walls, like things looking, being taken in by the shadow of, and if you don't know the cave, right, it is that there are people who, and this is like a very, very reductive, like I almost don't understand what I'm talking about, probably. But yes, people in this cave, and they're transfixed by the shadows, like the things, the puppets, the imagery going on the wall. And, they have no idea what it's like magic to them. They don't know what the source is, right? And lacking the kind of analytical or the drive to figure that out. Like just totally okay with like hanging out, watching the shadows in the walls move around. Kind of like just watching TV all day, right? Every day for the rest of your life, which, you know, doesn't sound terrible, I guess. I do watch TV, so that is one of my indulgences. But let's see. So I almost kind of feel like there's a sense of now I don't feel like you're happy just watching. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Cancer. You're going for the core of things every single time. You got to figure it out. But I do feel like there's it feels like there's a distortion, and it feels like it's related to somebody in your life. I feel like it's not like a nefarious thing where they are misleading you on purpose, but I think really more kind of they are out of touch with themselves. They believe kind of the delusion of their own whatever they're doing. And I feel like whenever you're around them, it kind of like it's like you're in a different reality, because you can't figure out like, does this person, and by the way, somebody you probably care about, do they actually believe what they're saying? Like, are they gullible? Are they kind of just like fully off base? Are they like indoctrinated? Are they I don't know. It's kind of like, what is going on here? It feels like you've entered the Wizard of Oz or something. And so I feel like there's a sense of kind of wanting to wanting to get away from that. And at the core, we have the house. We have a house here, and you can see the chimney and stuff. So I kind of feel like there's this sense of like every time you're around this, it almost feels like an apparition, you know? I feel like there's this, like, I want to escape back to my little safe life away from all of this. And I wonder if this is like a family member who, you know, I wonder if it's like a sibling that's older, or like a parent maybe, or I don't know, maybe like an aunt or an uncle or somebody. And they really just experience reality maybe differently. They remember things differently than you do, or anybody else maybe does. And I feel like it can almost be like a sense of, like, are they lying or are they manipulating? Is this gaslighting? But I really feel like it's not so much that as they just fully believe what they're saying. And I also think, you know, that this is a person who is prone to kind of like, what is the word? Kind of like they look for things to be upset about. They experience the situation, they come out of it, and they look for like kind of the conspiracy of it all. And I think it, you know, for you, it's kind of like a lot of things are cut and dry. It's really kind of like, this is what happened. There are all these variables within like human nature and behavior and perception and so on. And that has to be accounted for. But there's not really necessarily like an underlying, you know, nefarious thing being played out. But I think this person really feels like, you know, maybe the family is ganging up on them, or, you know, whenever something goes wrong in their life, it's like the world is like, you know, out to get them, you know, and it's just so many things all the time. And I feel like, you know, you can only deal with so much of it. You don't like living in that realm of looking for reasons to be upset, looking for people to blame or situations to blame. You just want to deal with what is on your plate. You know, figure out the best course of action, get it done, and go about your business. You're not really interested in carrying around all of this kind of emotional baggage and doing all of this emotional labor for yourself and for other people, right? You just want to kind of do what you have to do to get through it. And when there are things that are kind of lasting and quite emotional and moving and so on, you know, you deal with that in your own way. You're not necessarily a person that likes to do that in a group setting. Okay, I think that you kind of, you know, you deal with your things how you do, and you're probably pretty private about it, I would assume. So, let's see. What else do we have here? We have that scorpion. We have the big scorpion. So maybe a Scorpio person. Now we have a mountain range up there as well. I want to look at that. So we have a person and a child. You can see, here's the head, here's the body. The child is right here. Almost kind of wonder if this is like parent-child. Oh, we also have a nature spirit right here in the end of the scorpion tail. So I kind of wonder if the scorpion person or Scorpio person is your child or your parent. And I feel like there's a bond there that is beyond any other bond that you have with anybody else. I think this is like one of your people, like your soul. You've traveled millennia together. Your souls are tied together. And there is a sense of just a deep understanding of one another. You don't necessarily even have to speak to each other. It just is there. There's a deep sense of connectedness and easy communication. And excuse me. And I feel like you'll always be close to each other in the physical sense. Like you're always going to either live together or live next to each other, see each other almost every day, talk to each other constantly. and I think, I almost wonder if this is your child, because I feel like maybe you always felt like you never have somebody like this. Like you never find the person of your life that you just have that easy, unconditional love with, even when things are hard, even when you are, at odds and whatever it is, you find a way out of it so naturally because you love each other so much. And you speak just a certain language that nobody else does. And so I feel like maybe you've had this child and it's like it opened up your heart, in a way that it never has been opened. And like we all say that about our kids, right? But let's face it, sometimes people have kids and there's a missed connection there. It's not that you don't love them. Of course you love them and they love you. But it's not easy, and it's, you don't necessarily feel like, you're, I don't know, like ride or dies for each other, and that happens. I feel like that happens more often than we talk about. Everybody wants to have that soul, deep connection with their children. And, and it's okay if it doesn't happen. I mean, I know you might think, gosh, Lenor, don't say that out loud. But listen, it's an expectation that is unreasonable for people. And I can't tell you how many times I've talked to, especially mothers, because usually I talk to mothers, that, or within my like mothers groups and things, where there are situations where they just don't feel spiritually connected. Emotionally, yeah, and as a caretaker, yeah, and as they get older, hoping that you can continue to grow close and all this, but it is normal to sometimes not have that connection, and it has to kind of either grow over time or maybe it never happens. Doesn't mean you don't love each other. But in this situation, this is not that. This is like your person. And maybe if you have other kids, that's kind of hard and maybe you don't like to admit it, but it is what it is sometimes. And, I guess basically you're very lucky that you have found your person. One of your soulmates, And that is an ultimate blessing. Now we have a little heart. We have a lot of anxiety around something. And this is where I think there's a lot of change, because I'm seeing these little coins and I feel like there's a sense of financial worries. But I think that I feel like, you have a tendency to really kind of ruminate, especially on the finances. And that's not to say that there aren't concerns or you should not be concerned, because listen, we're living in a time where I don't think I know anybody who's not having, some concerns about their finances. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this so it doesn't, for some reason I don't want it to overheat here. Ooh, and it's just moving around. I apologize. So anyways, yes, I feel like some financial woes, or at least anxieties, perceived anxieties or woes, or, things coming to a point where you're going to have to make some decisions about maybe spending, a financial plan, maybe taking on some more work, or, looking for some more hours or whatever it is. But I also think that, along with that, you're going to have to find a way to allow yourself to get some restorative relaxation and sleep. And I think a lot of it, the anxiety here, has to do with the fact that you're like really hyper aware of the finances, and you're not letting yourself have any reprieve from that worry. And you're gonna have to find some healthy kind of distraction, something, grounding, mindfulness, meditation, active imagination, focusing on some of the spiritual work, looking at the bigger picture of things, trying to find a way to trust in that the universe will always provide for you, right? And I know I say that, and I think, I remember not that long ago times where I was worried about paying my rent. Not just 1 month, every month, right? I remember living off of ramen, not just in my early 20s, as like a 32-year-old. Sometimes it just was like that. My cats had to eat before I did. And so I get it. I understand. And I know it's easy for somebody to say, well, don't just dwell on it. You have to do something else, and you have to, and it's easier said than done. I get that. But for your well-being, you have to go out and, do whatever it is. I mean, you don't have to go out. You could do it at home, wherever home is, and employ those things that help, whatever they are. If you can't think of anything, one of the big things for me, taking hot showers, very grounding, being in the water. You're a Cancer, you need to go to the water, or maybe taking a cool shower, bringing down that anxiety, not startling cold, unless you're doing one of these like plunges or cold therapies, but doing something to change the temperature of your body will get you unstuck from that loop of thinking. So that is helpful. Maybe even doing kind of a mantra, finding a mantra for yourself. I've been on this real transcendental meditation kick myself. So I'm all about everybody finding their mantras right now. So maybe looking for a power phrase, something that makes you feel something, deeply, and allowing yourself some time to repeat that, just get your mind kind of, reprogramming through whatever your mantra is. And, for me, a lot of times it's something like, this isn't going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. This too shall pass, mama. That's what I tell myself. And so it can be fun too. It can be fun. Get creative with it. All right, let's take a look over here. We are using the Indigo Sage affirmation cards, and these ones are the air element. We were just doing the earth element before. Now we're on to air. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Okay. And it says, sacred human, you are an incomparable, ever-changing, beautiful expression of divine love. I agree, you are. You most definitely are. Yes. All right. Well, Cancer, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I'm going to also tell you thank you. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. Please don't be mean. That's my little appeal. I am just feeling extra sensitive, kind of goofy, a little loopy. Part of it is that we're in the process of moving studios and house and all this stuff. But also the eclipse, in between these eclipses and the new moon. The new moon always really affects me. And we have this super new moon in just a couple days from now. Or maybe it's like 3 or 4 days. But I can feel it. I can feel it. And so, yeah, I feel a little bit not myself, or maybe part of myself, some part of myself, right? Like way out on the outskirts of self. And, you know, I don't know. Hopefully you all are feeling good and getting ready for this eclipse. And yeah, yes. All right. Well, Cancer, again, I love you. We'll talk in a few days. Take care of yourself. Good night. Good night. Good night.